Mark, what are the key details of what you've reported?
So the biggest new detail we have is that Apple has scaled back from a level 5 to a level 4 car. Now, what does that mean? The original approach that Apple had been working on for the past couple of years was a fully autonomous car with no steering wheel, no pedals, essentially downgrading or maybe upgrading the driver to a passenger, someone who could basically chillax in the car while it's driving, right? But they've downgraded that to level 4. Now, what does that mean? That means you're going to get full autonomous, full self-driving functionality, but only in certain areas, that being, at least to start, freeways and highways. So the idea of this Apple car operating on city streets, complex roads, or in inclement weather like snow or rain, that's not going to happen, at least in the near term after the launch, but maybe eventually as they expand it. The other detail, of course, is the delay you mentioned. They had been most recently targeting a launch sometime in 2025. That's now about 2026.
Just talk to us as to why. I mean, we can all imagine what a Herculean task this is to pivot from phones to cars, the injection of efficiency and indeed an R&D that must be needed. But just why the delay here?
So the delay is mostly because they have a fundamental shift going on with the project, right? A lot of the interior, the underlying mechanics, the software, a lot of redesigning and re-architecting needs to go on now for that fundamental shift from a level 5 to a level 4. In terms of what's taking Apple so long on this car, well, one thing is they still need a partner, right? They need a partner to develop the underlying, what is called in the industry as a skateboard, right? That's the base of the car, that's the steering and wheel system, that's the parts that connect to the steering wheel, underlying electronics, parts of the drivetrain, and of course the battery, right? Drivetrains are very important to this. Batteries, obviously, an EV, very important to this, so they need to do that. But then let's talk about the self-driving technology. Full level 5 autonomous driving, that's a dream, and I personally don't think, and clearly Apple agrees, that's something that's going to be realized anytime in the near term. I think it's going to be at least 20, 30 years, if not even in our lifetime, where you get full level 5, where you can plug in where you're going and know you're going to get there safely with no issue.
That's certainly a trend that we're seeing, from legacy auto right through to startups. You've been a busy man. The other big story from Apple today is about the App Store. They've basically overhauled pricing. What's the news there?
Yeah, so Apple's trying to make the App Store a bit more interesting to developers, right? They do these little incremental pushes to show developers why the 30% fee or the 15% fee in some cases is worthwhile. They want to show developers why the App Store will remain the best store for developers. Now, today, the App Store is the only way to get apps, but there are potential reasons, and there's some sight to say that there may be alternatives in the future, whether that's sideloading, different rules created by governments, the upcoming regulations in Europe. So they have to keep improving the App Store to make it more interesting to developers. In terms of the news today, really two things. One, they're expanding pricing. So before they went from 49 cents to $1,000. Now they're going from 29 cents to $10,000. Those tiers above 1,000, those have to get approval from Apple before you can price an app or subscription at that price, right? They don't want someone creating a video player for 10 grand. The other thing is now you're going to have easier ways to convert taxes, and currency fluctuations will be easier to handle globally as well, given the App Store is available in nearly 200 countries.